again, to reiterate what you said, when I arrived here, I mean, the choice was very easy to come here. It's a marvelous model, the CIC, the biggest in scale of any accelerator incubator I know of. They might be bigger, but I wouldn't be able to say where. And of course, the founder and CEO of CIC is Tim Raw, who was very gracious in our cooperation in establishing that CTA. Chris, before we would call the company to come to the front, I'd like to acknowledge a few more partners that were not mentioned yet. Certainly Capital Innovation, who's also one of our partners on that specific mission, who brought some companies, who organized the dinner after later tonight. So thank you very much. Last but not least, as you have understand, a very, very important element of the whole system is basically to use the goodwill and the enthusiasm of Canadian expat in this ecosystem, the successful Canadian expat.
The world is a big stage, and there's lots of opportunities, and the more you can connect, the better things will happen. So this is a great connector opportunity. I just want to say that we wish you all success, every success, and be sure to keep in touch with the Council whatever we can do. I know you will be with Terry and his team. So proud to be part here with you as we're making history. All the best.
And the third thing is like providing them resources, right? Once you're down that path where you're like, I'm ready to start a business, or I've already started working on it, you need a lot of people. You need a lot of things, right? You need investors, you need a co-founder, early employees, you need a lawyer, you need an accountant. So Harvard started this innovation lab. It's like this co-working space, right? It's like this, they got a building, and it said this is going to be focused on starting companies, and startups, right? Free office space, or very close to free, right? So it's like very little rent. But then we give you access to like mentors, to like investors, to like people that'll help you like structure the company, your shareholder agreement, all that stuff. Because it's a high concentration of entrepreneurs. They're all hanging out in the same place. And then when it's such a collaborative environment, it's like an open office space, right? Open environment. You know, I'm working on a company, you're working on a company, and be like, hey, how's it going? Oh, I'm having this challenge, like, and I can help you right then and there because we're there working together. You asked the question sort of how to work together.
How to work together. That would be also very interesting, I think, from our perspective.
So I think the one way, given that you're in Canada, would be to access it through the consulates. So we're launching a CTA, Canadian Technology Accelerator, right? The idea is bring companies down from Canada and connect them with sort of Boston, New England-based entrepreneurs, investors, and then help them mentor, help them connect them within the community. So that's one way. It's not really Harvard related, it's more sort of New England, Boston. But some of the people in the group, including myself, are affiliated with Harvard or MIT. Right? So through that you can now access Harvard and MIT, right?
What can you tell us about activities for undergrads or graduate students on campus about entrepreneurship? Or in MIT actually.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say there's a huge entrepreneurial focus at MIT. I mean, there's just tons of programs that are available for students, undergrads or grad students now. I mean, MIT, it's one of the few schools in the world where actually the grad population is larger than the undergrad population. And I mean, they have tons of competitions. A lot of them are student-run, student clubs that focus purely on entrepreneurship. And then there's a lot of centers. I went earlier this week at the Martin Trust Center for Entrepreneurship. And it's one of these places they offer spaces for students to work. They provide some resources. If students need a computer program, they'll buy it for them. They provide some basic technical equipment. And maybe it's not as much today, but I remember when I first started running the club 4 or 5 years ago, almost everybody was from Montreal.
Wow, okay.
Like the predominant group in our Canadian club was Montrealers. And so there's always people with ties back to Montreal that would be happy to get involved. And even those who don't are still more than happy, because if there's one thing you'll notice, Canadians always have interest back in Canada. And you want to see Canadian companies succeed, you want to see Canadian businesses, Canadian students.
Yeah.
You want to see Canada succeed. And so you can talk to anyone here. I'm sure they're more than willing to help out and get involved and volunteer their time and do what they can. So.
My Canadian friends, you should be shouting from the rooftops that Canadian taxpayers are stunningly generous with their money. And it is a huge advantage. In the U.S., we do not have the level of support from a financial point of view for early stage companies that you have in Canada. The terms in Canada are easy, the availability is extraordinary, the amounts are staggering, and basically, as you can see in this financing, it's almost a 1-to-1 ratio between non-dilutive and dilutive capital. And that changes our IRR, our internal rate of return, over the life cycle of this investment by an increase of anywhere from 30 to 40%, and reduces an extraordinary amount of risk, because we can get these loans from the federal government. I mean, we just got a request from IRAP, which is part of the National Research Council, to fund our next generation of technology. I am unaware of an American entity, a government entity, that would come to you and say, would you like $500,000 so that you can basically not have to go and bother your investors for more capital so you can get your next generation of product out? That would be anathema in much of the U.S. So I can say with great candor, one of the most compelling aspects of investing in Canada is the availability of SHREDS, FedDev, SOFI, IRAP. I mean, the list goes on through an alphabet soup of acronyms that I have no idea what they mean.
And for the entrepreneurs, I want to tell you one thing. Stalking is a good thing, aggression is a good thing, pivoting is a good thing, and never letting you give up is a good thing. Every entrepreneur walks a fine line. Depending on how things fall, you're either a complete idiot or you're a genius, and it can happen within the same day. Michael's crazy. Michael has ambition that's larger than anyone in life, and basically oversold everything he did, but then he over-delivered. So the moral of that story is you think big, and you have to have vision that's grander than your actions at the moment. It turned out that that product became the de facto product for all the IBM-compatible world. Within months, we had Compaq and others as our customers, and we did $0 to $80 million in 9 months and went public in 18 months. When you look at how to do business, whether it be Boston or Montreal or Halifax or Vancouver or Toronto, if it's not Silicon Valley, it's not Silicon Valley. So all of us need to work much, much harder to make sure that the networking effect works. Events like this and things that Martin wants to do in Montreal.
Again, I'd like to be grateful to Capital Innovation for that partnership. The Government of Canada is pleased to be sponsored basically those 3 days, including that one. The Development and Economy Canada from Quebec, the Regional Development Agency, is the main sponsor of today's event.
Everyone smile! Are you smiling?
Looks good.
Very nice.
Oh, okay. Here we go. Meet in the middle here. Woohoo! That's kind of like building an oil pipeline. Not a good metaphor. Sorry. Not exactly. You see that flame one?
Can I see that handshake again? That would be nice. Hold on 1 second. All right. Oh yeah, hold that ribbon.